Well, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to show you the progress that is up till now on preparing the totes to get ready for planting and a few other things that I've been working on. So let's go out here to the garden. As you know, I started working on my green totes. But there's the first one. I didn't use the styrofoam. It looked too conspicuous. So I just ended up using the foundation of the post and a little log that was cut off that worked fine. It was wide enough and tall enough that it worked. And I've got it set up so I can have two pots there. My other tote is back here. And you can see that I've already transplanted my brassicas and put them in that tote there. This one I'm still working on. I haven't put dirt or compost or anything else in there, just the cardboard and broken down wood bark. And that one has got dirt, but nothing's planted in it yet. And I did put brassicas in my pink one here. They made it through the winter, so I dug them out of the pots they were in and transplanted them here. And in the green tote, I've got brassicas planted. And those, like I said, those are all some that made it through the winter. Some of them were in that big bag that was right there in that hole that I had planted last year. I went ahead and pulled the bag out and put it in the bottom of some of the totes. Got this one set up, but I have not planted in it yet. I'll probably add a little bit more dirt to it. And as you can see, all I put under it was a couple of short logs that were cut. They make great foundations, and that's just so if I need to mow around it, I can without cutting into the pots or the totes. And I've got a pot there between the tote and the post that I can plant in. I don't know if I'll leave this one here or not. This bag in the ground, I might. I had some stuff that grew pretty good in there last year until it got so hot and dry that it burned up. So I may try it again this year. I left a few bags that are in the middle of the canopy here, because I had okra there last year that did real well. And I'm not sure if I'll plant a tomato plant or what in this one, because I do have that trellis that it can go up. And I got one bag over there that I'll plant in, because it had all had okra last year. And that one had okra. So we'll see. But yeah, this is the setup of my... Get back here so you can see a little bit better. This is my setup of my green totes. You can see it's all under the canopy. I'm trying to keep it contained to one area. Keep it all in the backyard. So that's all the pots that I'm going to add this year. I've got a bunch of the small pots that I've emptied the dirt out of and the compost out of that I help fill my green totes up with. So I can use these pots that I emptied to transplant some of my tomato plants and other plants in the greenhouse as they come up that I'm not going to be able to put outside yet. I can at least transplant the small little seedlings into bigger cups or bigger pots. You know, maybe something this size. And they'll be all right for several weeks growing in that until I'm able to get them out of the greenhouse. Because, you know, I've got mid-March to go yet. We'll go in here and check on my stuff that I got in the greenhouse here. You get the door unzipped. I mean, it's okay to do this because all of my seeds so far are covered up with trays. So it's not going to affect them by opening the door. Get this up so I can get it in here without it falling. That's good enough. I don't have to tie both sides. But anyway, there's the way I've got it. I've got it planted in rows, and each row is marked with that. Let's see. They're not germinated yet. You know, they got a while to go yet before they germinate. But that's keeping that dirt plenty moist until they do come up. And there's my other rose cuttings. And I've got seeds planted in the little square pots down there. I think it was, I can't remember if I put, because y'all don't know, I didn't mark it. It was eggplant or something I put in there. I don't remember. But anyway. And this one is Swiss chard. That's not come up yet. And like I said, I just put several little seed in there, and as they come up, you know, and get big enough, I can pull them out and transplant them. So it doesn't matter that they're in that little dome. So that's all I've got started yet so far. Let's see. I've got hot pepper, several different brands of hot pepper, jalapeno, super steak tomato, super steak hybrid tomato, bodacious, black beauty eggplant, thyme, basil, yellow bell pepper, red banana pepper, and that's hot. And up here I've got cherry tomatoes, brandywine tomatoes, grape tomatoes, gold nuggets, golden jubilees, Ace 55, Roma tomato, brandy boy. All of these are like grape, cherry, you know, the smaller tomatoes, except for the Romas. The Roma is just a regular Roma tomato. And then bell pepper up here, and another row of bell pepper. But I've got to get okra out in a little bit. Not today, not in the next couple of days, but I do want some okra, squash. And you can start your squash now. I just haven't put it out. I need to get busy and, because see, I've got all these cups here. Got all these cups here that I can plant stuff in. And I've got a box full of my, well, it's not full, but I got cans that I used from last year of starting seedlings in. They'll be all right to transplant in, or I can start seeds in it, in those cans. You know, my okra and some other stuff that I need to get started, like the cucumber, squash. Well, squash you can plant now. Start the seeds now. And then when they're big enough in a couple of weeks, you can put them out. So that's another thing that I've got to get planted in seed. And start my seed starts of my squash. And I haven't done that yet. So that's in the works. Yeah, I can leave this door open right now because all of my seed starts are covered. They're not going to dry out as much right now, because it's starting to get hot during the day. And see some of those right there? That's one that survived from last year, or it survived through the winter months. And usually the brassicas will. There's some right there that need to be taken out of this one bucket and transplanted, because there's probably 7 or 8 plants down in there. That's too many for one pot. And see, I got one tree collard coming up there. This stalk, I don't know. It's probably rotted from being frozen. And those are too, probably. The stalk is still a little green to these. So I still might have a tree collard plant come up from the roots. I don't know. This one the same way. I may have a collard come up from the root. And that one's already putting out a tree collard down there at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that one leaf that's starting to grow. But yeah, if I can get just one of them to put out a shoot and live, I can break cuttings off of that one tree collard and start more. But you know, I'm not particularly happy with the tree collards. I don't like anything that bugs get on that bad. But I planted potatoes in that one, and I planted potatoes in this one, along with all the pink ones over there that I planted potatoes or onions or garlic in. So there's an update on my garden, y'all. And I got to get busy and do some stuff today. I don't know what yet. But see, that all survived. Or most of it did. So, I just wanted to give you an update of what I've done. Well, there's a little Goldie looking for little Buddy. He's out here somewhere. He come out here a little earlier after he ate breakfast. I guess she's wondering where he's at. But I almost forgot to give you an update on my rose bushes. You can see they're putting out new shoots right there. Little leaves, little branches. They got them all over. But, you know, that doesn't mean that it's going to survive. I don't know. And I got some kind of flower seed coming up in that pot. I don't know what it is. I guess I'll find out when it gets big enough. But I wanted to show you these out here too. I mean, I'm hoping we get quite a few more rains before hot weather hits, so they'll survive. But that one looks pretty decent. It's got little nodes on it. And there was my rose bush from last year. And this one's got little nodes too. Look at there. So it may root. I don't know. If it doesn't get too dry, it will. And this one's got new little shoots or little buds where new leaves are coming out. This one does too. They're kind of small though. You can't really see them. And there's that one. And it does have little buds where it's trying to put out leaves. So we'll see what happens with it. And I went ahead and stuck these out yesterday. I put one there. Look at there. I wonder if I can get... It's full of flower seeds, I think. I hope some more of those come up this year. Those are that wildflower. And I couldn't dig a hole deep enough to put one there, so I'm just going to dig up those rocks, move the rocks and use the rocks for something else. Because a rose bush is not going to grow there. It's got that big boulder going underneath it. So when it gets dry, there's no water under there. But I put one there. And I dug a deep hole. I dipped my cutting in that root hormone. And then I filled the hole with that good topsoil, garden soil, from that pile right over there. So I'm hoping it will root and they'll live. And I did these the same way. I replaced every one except that one that I couldn't dig a hole deep enough. But I put that one there. And then I got two up here that I replaced. That one. And this one. And there's almost as much under the ground as you can see at the top. Because when you put them in the ground, you want to have a pretty long stem that goes in the dirt. And I added garden soil to the mums. You can see the mums are peeking their way through. And I think my crepe myrtle right there is dead. I may have to just dig that out. But I've been slowly adding that garden soil over there. I've added it to these pots. And I added it to a lot of the green totes and the other pots back there. Because that's good rich garden soil right there. It's mixed with, I guess, cow manure and all kind of good growing matter for your plants. That's one reason I got it covered. If you cover it when it rains hard, it doesn't wash everything out into the dirt. And the birds don't poop in it and leave you unwanted seeds that you may not want in your garden soil. I put it to my rose bushes here, and I need to trim that one up. Cut that dead part off of it. And that one. I need to pull that pot out because I don't think there's any hope for that rose bush. Just pull it out and use my pot somewhere else. But I think that's going to look good when I get tomatoes or beans or whatever I get growing in there. And if I have anything that vines tall enough, you know, I can tie a string to the top of the canopy and run down to the tote so it'll have something to grow up on. But I've been adding topsoil or garden soil to those. You know, I added it to all of these before I planted my onions or my potatoes. That's got potatoes, potatoes, potatoes. Onions, garlic, potatoes, potatoes. So all these pink totes are planted. Plus a pot of brassica right there. And that made it all through the winter. That little one right there. I got to add some garden soil to these. And I need to get these plants up. I've got 5 or 6 right here that need to come out and go in these other bigger totes. And see all these? I mean, there's 3 right there. And I don't know how many in this clump. But there's more than 2, that's for sure. And it would help them if I'd pull them out and transplant them and give them room to grow. And then I got onions and garlic here. Onions. I don't know what I'll put in this pot this year, but I got to add garden soil to it. Yeah, I went ahead and took the shade cloth off because I want my seedlings, when they start germinating and come up, I want them to have the full benefit of the sun. That way I don't have to harden them off as much to put them outside. And see, I got that pot of brassicas. And that was seed that I put in there, and they've got 5, 6, 7, 8 plants in there. So they got to come out and go somewhere. And this one made it through the winter. And since it's just one, I'm going to leave it in that pot. It'll be okay. I may plant some of these holes in brassicas once I add more. Because see, some of them already have stuff growing. Right there. Brussels sprout made it through the winter. Doesn't look too good, but it sure made it through the winter months. But all of this, I need to pull out all these things, put in garden soil, and plant brassicas or something in there. I may even have a stray tomato seed in there that's going to come up. And see, I got chives, and I've got a brassica growing in there. So some of my stuff did survive the cold winter weather. I mean, I don't know how many more freezes we'll have before it stops freezing, but did I just pull those up? No, they broke off. They were kind of rotted anyway. But I got a lot of stuff that's got to come out of there. Like these old dead plants. I got to get garden soil in all these blocks. Ready for flowers or something to be planted in them. I got onions survive right there. I've got onions here. And I got chives here, trying to grow them up with all this other stuff that's come up in here that needs to be pulled out. I mean, that's terrible. You try to pull that stuff out and you almost pull the onions out, or the chives, because they're all growed together. Kind of difficult to do. But I got chives there. And they were all from last year. This stuff wants to grow where you don't want it. All the seed, all the wildflowers. Yeah, I need to go around and pull all those wildflowers that are growing in there out of my pots, that is. My Egyptian walking onions are looking good. There's a pot of them up there between the black pots. Yeah, once you start Egyptian walking onions, you'll always have onions. There's my 2 pots of Egyptian walking onions there. And I'll have all these dish pans and stuff to replant. And I've got parsley right here. I need to trim it up because the plant's still alive. And I got to get that rose bush out of that big pot so I can utilize that pot to plant something else in, like peppers or tomatoes or okra or something. And there's the Egyptian walking onions there. They're coming back to life. And see, I got to get the grass and weeds out of there. That's where that great big, and part of that plant is still alive. I mean, I can't pull it out without gloves on because the stem, the outside of the stem is slimy like, and it just slides through my hands. But I've been out here trying to clean up some of these buckets and totes to where I can put more garden soil in the top and get them ready to plant for this planting season. My compost bins are full. These are so full I can barely turn them. And of course that one's full to the top. And see, I got a brassica there that survived. There's one there that, I don't know, it may or it may not. But there's one still alive in there. I need to put dirt in here, garden soil, because they really didn't have enough last year. And I covered this up for the cold weather and forgot it was covered. But it's alive, look at that. It's another brassica. Put that rock back in that bucket, so in that pot, so it doesn't blow away. Yeah, but I need to pull that out, put garden soil in there, and then replant it. I'm not going to put anything tall in these planter buckets this year. I'll plant all brassicas or herbs, something like that, something that's not going to grow real tall and have to be staked up. I'm afraid my buckets will turn over. I mean, I got them secured pretty good, but you know, they can get top heavy, so I don't want that to happen. I got some walking onions there. My mom's here, I don't know. I may have to plant something else here. It doesn't look like they're coming back out. My peppermint's okay. My mandevilla has survived. Maybe it'll bloom this year. I don't know how long those things take before they'll start blooming. And I got marigold seeds here. Break some of them up and put them over here. Leave some of them down in there, because I don't know about that mum. It don't look like it's going to do anything. Break off some of the dead part of the peppermint. And this is the clematis. And see, I got leaves coming out on it. It looks dead, but look at that. It's got leaves coming out. See there? That's why you don't want to break down your vines, even though they look dead. Because some of the clematis will grow on its old growth. And if you cut it down, it just has to start over again. See there? That looked dead, but look at the leaf buds coming out on it. And it's that way all the way up. And here's my hollyhocks. I got to come out here and chop these off. Oh, let's see. I was going to put this down, but I don't have the legs out. Let me put these down. Yeah, I had just remembered I had not done a garden update too recently. So but I can use all of this old growth as like a mulch. Put my garden soil on top. I can get a bucket or two of that garden soil and pop in here on top of this. So any of that hollyhocks survived, because they are perennials, they're supposed to come back up every year. So we'll see what happens. That's ready. All I got to do is pour some garden soil on top of it. That's ready to go. I got dandelions coming up out here. Right there. Those were some I brought in from North Carolina. And see, I need to get some of that garden soil put out there too. And I need to get it put out here where these mums are. And my rose bush. Because that rose bush is starting to bud out with leaves. My mums are coming up right there. That rose bush is starting to bud out. And I've got all kind of flower bulbs out there, so I need to put some of that garden soil, just spread it out all over the whole top of that. And it'll give my flowers a good jump start for this summer. And I've got daylilies in the top of this that have not come up yet. But they will. I need to get all the weeds out of it. See, I've got a lot to do. But there's only one of me, so. Yeah, I'm hoping they'll bloom. They bloom every year. Unfortunately, by the time they bloom, it freezes again. And the minute the flower opens, it freezes and then it kills the flower. So I never really have a pretty bunch of dandelions because they bud out, start to bloom, and then it freezes again. So that just takes care of that. Yeah, there's all wildflowers growing here. But it won't hurt to put garden soil on it. And like I said, that one rose bush needs to come out. Because I know it's dead. See? It broke right off. Just me stepping on it. Or I could plant some dandelions in there. Not dandelions, but hollyhocks. They grow kind of tall. They might like it there. Get over here and get these up. Go throw them in the fire pit. Whew. And I probably need to move my fire pit over some more. Probably move it over a couple more feet this way till it's sitting right on top of that big rock to give my rose bushes over there plenty of room. So if I have a fire, it doesn't affect my rose bush. It'll be far enough away from the crepe myrtle there. It's far enough away from everything else if I move it over a couple more feet toward me to get it away from the rose bush cutting I just put over there. Yeah, I can do that, and then I probably won't have to move anything but these two rock seats that I made and that one over there. That big one can just stay where it's at, because that's just a seat, something to sit on. I said, why buy chairs when I can make seats with rocks for people to sit around the fire? But I need to burn that stuff too. I threw in there yesterday. And look at all the wildflowers that have started popping up. Every bit of that green you see is all the wildflowers. The blanket flower, I think it's called, that came up last year. That comes up every year since I put the seeds out. And look at them there. That's all the wildflowers, the blanket flowers. So, that's the end of my garden tour. I'll get back with you later. See you on the next one.